Welcome to the channel, everybody. Today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's more uncomfortable than a 2-hour bus ride with a baboon on your lap. Corruption in Africa. Specifically, we're ranking the top 10 most corrupt presidents. From number 10 all the way to the grand champion of questionable spending. We'll be uncovering the leaders who've made headlines for all the wrong reasons. We're talking Swiss bank accounts overflowing with public funds, mansions that make Trump Tower look like a shack, and enough shady deals to make a Nigerian prince blush. So buckle up, grab your safari hats, metaphorically of course, and let's get started. First up at number 10, we've got Zimbabwe's Emmerson Mnangagwa, also known as the Crocodile. Now, you don't get a nickname like that for baking award-winning apple pies, right? This guy's got a reputation, and it's not for being a saint. Mnangagwa slithered his way into power back in 2017, promising a new era for Zimbabwe after decades of Robert Mugabe's iron-fisted rule. But here's the thing about promises in politics. They're like cheap cologne. They smell good for a second, then fade away. Fast forward to today, and the only thing booming in Zimbabwe is the inflation rate. Meanwhile, allegations of corruption are swirling around Mnangagwa's government like flies around a week-old mango. We're talking about disappearing diamond revenues, dodgy mining deals, and enough suspicious contracts to make your head spin. Critics say Mnangagwa's been cracking down on dissent harder than a teenager trying to hide their browser history. Coming in at number 9, we have Salva Kiir, the president of South Sudan. Now, you'd think that being in charge of a country with so much oil would be like winning the lottery every day, right? Well, not if you're a citizen of South Sudan. Despite sitting on a literal gold mine of oil reserves, South Sudan is mired in poverty, conflict, and corruption so deep it makes quicksand look like a solid investment. And at the heart of this mess is Salva Kiir, who's been accused of running the country like his own personal piggy bank. We're talking about millions of dollars in oil revenue allegedly vanishing into thin air, government officials living like kings while their people starve, and a level of nepotism that would make even the most shameless family reunion look tame. The sad reality is, while Kiir and his cronies are living the high life, ordinary South Sudanese are struggling to survive. It's a stark reminder that corruption doesn't just line the pockets of the powerful. It steals hope, opportunity, and even lives. At number 8, we have Yoweri Museveni, the man who's practically become a permanent fixture in Ugandan politics. He's been in power since 1986, which is longer than some of you watching this have been alive. You got to admit, the man's got stamina. He's also got a knack for dodging corruption scandals like a seasoned Matatu driver dodging potholes in Kampala. Over the years, Museveni's been accused of everything from rigging elections to silencing opposition leaders to funneling public funds into his own pockets. But somehow he always seems to come out smelling like roses. Some people say Museveni is a strong leader who brought stability to Uganda. Others say he's a power-hungry autocrat who's clinging to power like a toddler to their favorite blanket. Number 7 on our list brings us to the Horn of Africa, where we meet Ismail Omar Guelleh, the president of Djibouti. Now, Djibouti might be small, but under Guelleh's rule, its corruption scandals are anything but. Guelleh's been running the show in Djibouti since 1999, and during that time, he's developed a bit of a reputation. Some might call him a shrewd businessman, others, well, not so much. See, Djibouti sits on a very strategic spot on the Red Sea, making it a prime location for international shipping and military bases. And Guelleh, he's used that leverage to strike deals that would make even the most seasoned negotiators raise an eyebrow. The result? While foreign money pours into Djibouti, most of its citizens aren't exactly seeing the benefits. Coming in at number 6, we've got Isaias Afwerki, the president of Eritrea. This is a man who makes Mugabe's reign look like a weekend getaway. Afwerki's been in charge since 1993, and in that time, he's turned Eritrea into one of the most isolated and secretive countries on earth. Under Afwerki, Eritrea is basically a one-man show where dissent is about as welcome as a vegan at a barbecue. There's no free press, no independent judiciary, and definitely no room for opposing political parties. Eritrea is like a black hole for transparency. making it nearly impossible to know just how much money is being siphoned off. And the few leaks that have emerged from Eritrea paint a picture of a government riddled with corruption, where loyalty to 𝐂𝐿𝐭𝐡 is the only currency that matters. Slithering in at number 5, we have Denis Sassou Nguesso of the Republic of Congo. This guy's been in power for a combined 36 years. That's longer than some snakes live. Nguesso's first stint as president was from 1979 to 1992, back when mullets and shoulder pads were all the rage. Then, after a brief hiatus, he decided to grace the Congolese people with his presence again in 1997, and he's been there ever since. But here's the thing, Nguesso's rule hasn't exactly been a walk down memory lane. It's more like a never-ending carnival ride of corruption, human rights abuses, and enough shady deals to make your head spin. We're talking about billions of dollars in oil revenue disappearing into thin air, a justice system that's about as fair as a rigged game of dice, and a political opposition that's being silenced faster than you can say, Congo is a kleptocracy. Hold on to your berets, folks, because at number 4, we've got Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon. This is a man who's been in power for so long, he makes your average dictator look like a tourist passing through. We're talking 40 years, people. That's longer than the internet has been around. Biya's basically the political equivalent of that one uncle who shows up uninvited, eats all your food, and overstays his welcome by a decade or 4. And just like that uncle, Biya seems to have a knack for making a mess of things. Under his rule, Cameroon's been plagued by corruption, poverty, and a separatist movement that's been gaining momentum faster than a cheetah on a sugar rush. But hey, at least Biya's living the good life, right? I mean, when you're sitting on a throne of stolen wealth, who cares if your country's falling apart at the seams, am I right? Coming in hot at number 3, we've got Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea. This is a man who loves luxury more than a Kardashian loves a selfie. We're talking mansions, supercars, and enough bling to make Mr. T look like a minimalist. And where does all this wealth come from, you ask? Well, Equatorial Guinea just happens to be swimming in oil. But here's the catch. Most of that oil money seems to vanish faster than a plate of jollof rice at a family reunion. You see, Obiang runs Equatorial Guinea like his own personal ATM, withdrawing cash whenever he pleases and leaving the rest of the country with empty pockets. It's like that friend who always forgets their wallet when the bill comes, except on a national scale. So while Obiang's busy buying himself another yacht, his people are struggling to afford basic necessities. It's enough to make you wonder if he even knows what the word corruption means. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button to support Africarized in creating more great content. Coming in at a not-so-surprising number 2 is none other than Nigeria's own Bola Tinubu. Now, Tinubu's a complicated figure. Some call him a political mastermind, a kingmaker, the godfather of Lagos. Others, well, they use words like corrupt and crooked. See, Tinubu's been a major player in Nigerian politics for decades. He was governor of Lagos State, and his influence in the ruling party, the APC, is undeniable. He's like that uncle at a wedding who always seems to know everyone and have a hand in everything. But with great power comes, well, you know the rest. Tinubu's been dogged by corruption allegations for years. We're talking about accusations of unexplained wealth, shady business dealings, and a web of cronyism that would make a spider blush. Now, Tinubu denies all these allegations, of course. He says it's all political mudslinging, an attempt to tarnish his good name. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the top spot on our list of the most corrupt presidents in Africa goes to, drumroll please, William Ruto of Kenya. Now, before you start throwing tomatoes at the screen, let me explain. Ruto's story is a classic tale of rags to riches, African style. He started out as a humble chicken seller, hustling his way to the top. He's even nicknamed the Hustler-in-Chief, which, let's be honest, is a pretty catchy title. But somewhere along the way, it seems the allure of power got a little too strong. Ruto's been implicated in a string of corruption scandals that would make even the most seasoned politician break a sweat. And there you have it, folks, the top 10 most corrupt presidents in Africa. Now, I know this wasn't exactly a light-hearted trip to the zoo. Corruption is a serious issue, and it's important to hold our leaders accountable no matter where they're from. If you found this video even remotely informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Africarized channel for more content, and share it with your friends. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay skeptical, my friends.